Hi there, my name is Stephen Pittman and I'm a procurement officer, also known as a buyer for Metro Nashville. I'm going to be taking the next few minutes to walk you through the procurement process, starting with when we are assigned a requisition all the way to when the department receives the final purchase order or contract purchase agreement. Whenever a department needs to make a purchase outside of their delegated purchase authority, which is set at $10,000, they will send a requisition to the procurement department. The first step is for the purchasing agent to assign the requisition to a buyer. Buyers then work directly with the department to ensure suitability of the scope and determine which solicitation method best suits the needs of the department and Metro. The three main solicitation methods used are the ITB, RFP, and RFI methods. ITB, or invitation to bid, is the method used when the purchase is a commodity with identified specifications and is awarded based on lowest cost. Some examples of things purchased through the ITB process are the lights here at the Parthenon, various roofing projects, resurfacing the tennis courts at Metro Parks, and many other things. The requesting department will provide a scope of work, as well as specifications and minimum requirements. As long as the vendors meet all of the specifications and minimum requirements, the award will be based on cost with a small business incentive. I will discuss the ITB process in more detail throughout this video. RFP, or request for proposal, is the method used when the purchase is a desired outcome purchase. There are criteria in addition to costs that need to be evaluated, a best value consideration. Some examples of things purchased through the RFP process include the Ascend Amphitheater, audio-visual parts and services for the IT department, group dental health insurance benefits, and there's many other types of projects we do also. Like the ITB, there will be a scope of work and minimum requirements provided to the vendor. But with an RFP, there are additional evaluation criteria sections to which the vendor will have to provide a response. The award for an RFP is based on a review of the evaluation criteria sections as well as cost by an evaluation committee. This helps ensure that Metro is getting a high-quality outcome as well as competitive cost. The RFP process will be outlined in more detail later in this video. The third solicitation method is an RFI, or request for information. The purpose of an RFI is to collect information from potential suppliers and typically followed up by an ITB or an RFP. The RFI is non-binding, just market research. Once a decision has been made on which route to take, the buyer will create and provide to the department a tentative schedule for the solicitation, which includes dates for a pre-offer meeting, the question deadline, a close date, and if it's an RFP, the evaluation criteria and their weighted importance, and the evaluation committee meeting schedule. Once the scope of work and minimum requirements have been finalized, the buyer will request a Business Assistance Office, or BAO, assignment. The BAO handles the small business enterprise and procurement non-discrimination programs for Metro procurements. The SBE program is designed to encourage small business participation, while the PMP program is established to encourage minority and women-owned business participation. Information about the BAO will be covered in separate BAO tutorial videos. The solicitation is then published on iSupplier site. The iSupplier site is the Metro web portal where all solicitation information is provided to the vendors and is also where all bids are submitted. When the solicitation is published, an invitation is sent out to all vendors that are registered with Metro iSupplier under the corresponding commodity codes. These codes are standard classification codes for vendors to classify themselves under based on their products or services they provide. Vendors will then be able to view the solicitation along with the scope of work, specifications, minimum requirements, and any selection criteria and all relevant attachments. The buyer then holds a pre-offer meeting. This is an opportunity for vendors to come and hear in more detail about the procurement process, as well as ask questions they may have for the buyer or the procuring department. All questions vendors have about the scope of work or minimum requirements must be submitted through the online discussion portal in iSupplier. These questions must be submitted on or before the online discussion question deadline, which is laid out in the solicitation. The procurement office will then address all questions and provide Metro's official response as an amendment to the solicitation in iProcurement. This ensures that all suppliers see the same information and have equal access. The vendors will then get their bids submitted through the iSupplier site before the close date, which is laid out in the solicitation. Vendors can submit a bid at any time while the bid is open and can modify their bid as many times as they desire. Procurement staff and other Metro department personnel are unable to see the details of the submission until the bid is unlocked at closing. Once a solicitation closes, it depends on the solicitation method as to what steps come next. I will be walking through the steps we take when an ITB closes. First, I would like to point out that I am currently standing around objects that were purchased through the ITB process. The spotlights behind me were purchased based on the lowest responsive and responsible bid. When the bid closes, the buyer reviews all the bids, then creates a bid tab. This is a standardized tool we use to capture and evaluate cost for all bids. At this time, the BAO will conduct their review and provide their SBE and PMP assessments if applicable to the solicitation. Again, this process will be addressed in another video. Procurement staff then reaches out to the department contact for award approval. This is to ensure that the bid meets all specifications, requirements, and falls within the allowed budget of the department. When procurement receives award approval from the procuring department, an intent to award is released. The department and all bidders will be copied to this email to notify them of the award decision and will include the bid tab with the prices identified. The winning bidder will then provide the buyer with their certificate of insurance and, if applicable, a payment bond and performance bond. When all requested information has been received, the purchase order can then be issued, or if it is a contract, the contract purchase agreement. That contract is sent electronically for electronic signatures. This is the overview of how an ITB goes from start to finish. In the next section, you will be hearing about how an RFP makes its way through the award process.
Hello, my name is Jenario Pittman, and I am also a procurement officer for Metro Nashville. I will walk you through the steps involved in completing a request for proposal, commonly referred to as an RFP. As stated earlier in the video, a RFP is established in order to make a desired outcome purchase. I am currently standing at a Sin amphitheater, which was purchased applying the RFP process. This is not the type of purchase that you want to award solely based on low cost. The RFP process allows Metro the ability to evaluate companies based on their proposals, as well as take into account the cost. The RFP also includes negotiations, not only on cost, but on all concerns. This helps Metro get a final product that is high quality at a competitive cost. The RFP differs from the ITB in several ways. It is based on desired outcomes, deliverables that may differ from one offer to another, but all addressing the department's desired outcome. The award is based not on low price, but on total score of all evaluation criteria, which may include cost, business plan, references, and any other criteria the department finds relevant to the solicitation. Acceptance is not based on satisfying specifications, but is determined by an evaluation committee. The procurement officer serves as a non-voting facilitator on these committees. The offer may be negotiated, and all elements, including costs, could change from the initial offer to the final offer. Discussions and clarifications are permitted but not necessarily required. The objective is to secure an offer that is in the best overall interest of Metro. When a RFP closes, the buyer unlocks the solicitation, then gathers all proposal information for each bidder and sends the proposals to the evaluation committee. The evaluation committee may include subject matter experts, end users from the requesting department, key stakeholders, and sometimes consultants. They are nominated by the department and approved by the purchasing agent. The evaluation committee members will spend time reviewing each of the proposals. They will then meet as a team with the procurement officer to conduct the evaluation committee meeting. In the meeting, the evaluation committee provides their strengths and weaknesses for each proposal, and a consensus score is determined for each section of the evaluation criteria. A consensus score results from discussions by the committee members, who then arrive at an agreed-upon score for each of the criteria evaluated. The score is based upon the strengths and weaknesses that are stated by each member and justified during the deliberation process of the evaluation committee meeting. Not every criterion is of equal importance, which is why solicitation selection criteria can be weighted differently. The award determination is based on the highest total score offerer. This takes into account all of the evaluation criteria sections, as well as costs. The Business Assistance Office, also known as the BAO, makes sure the highest evaluated bidder is compliant to any BAO requirements that were established in the solicitation. For example, this may include procurement non-discrimination program outreach requirements. That outreach must have included a minimum consideration of 3 minority or women-owned business enterprise firms as potential subcontractors. If the solicitation is an architect and engineering solicitation, the RFP process has several additional differences that are required by law. Award is based on recognized competence and integrity. The evaluation criteria excludes costs. The evaluation committee is a review board and includes at least one architect or engineer. The review board selects the top 3 candidates and sends the list to the mayor. The mayor considers those firms and selects the firm with which to negotiate. Negotiations begin, and if all parties are satisfied with the results, a contract is finalized. If the process does not result in a contract, the list of the remaining 2 firms is sent to the mayor, and the process continues until a contract is achieved. The next step in the RFP process is for the intent to award to be released. The department and all offers are copied on this email to notify them of the award decision. The winning offeror will then provide the procurement officer with their certificate of insurance and, if applicable, a payment bond and a performance bond. When all requested information has been received and the contract as well as cost has been successfully negotiated, the contract is sent electronically for digital signatures. This is the overview of how a RFP goes from start to finish in the Metro procurement process. I hope you found this information beneficial.
Did you know that last year the Procurement Division executed 214 invitations to bid, 124 requests for proposals, 15 architect and engineer proposals, and 119 amendments? The total cost savings for all these transactions are over $18.1 million.